What is going on, guys? I'm Watch Ergo, and today we're gonna get the turbos off the R8. I'm super excited about that. But first, I'm gonna show you how I'm organizing these parts that are all around me. You can see the whole garage. Every inch of the floor now is covered by parts. After we got the rear end apart, let's go organize them. And this is one of my guest bedrooms in my house. It's mostly been empty forever. We've got a futon in here I let guests use. But I ran to Harbor Freight, bought this giant 9mm tarp, stretched it out through the whole room. It's like a 25 by 30. It's a pretty big tarp, but it's gonna give us room to lay out every single piece in order with nuts and bolts that come out of it. At least the body panels, right? That's what's important here and what we have to put away right now. So let's get started. And that's it, we got everything moved. I mean, almost everything. I left the bumper, it's still got some oil in it, dripping off. We're gonna wait until that finishes dripping and then put that in the bedroom. And right now, let's get these turbos off the car. I'm excited. At least the exhaust manifold here. And it doesn't look too difficult. If we come around here, it looks like I just need to pull off this, these two clamps here. And there's like some T50s or something. There's a big socket or Torx drive right there on each one of these solid or poly mounts or whatever, holding the exhaust on. That should let us get this whole assembly off. I guess I also have to pull that off the wastegates. Looks like some kind of small Allen key, and we'll have the exhaust off. After that, let's try to get the turbos off. That's kind of the goal for the day. So let's get to work. I've never actually taken off these V-band or whatever turbo flange clamp this is. It kind of seems like we have to back it all the way off. And we are learning how to do this together. That definitely got it done. We'll leave that on the turbo side right there. The exhaust is free. Also, that turbo is soaked in oil. Every single inch of this turbo covered. Let's get these wastegate clamps off. And we needed a 3/16 Allen key to remove the wastegate clamps off here. And a long extension as well. Oh, these need backed up with some kind of like very tiny wrench. The very small wrench was a 5/16. The only American fasteners I've encountered on this entire car so far. So we got that right off of there. No problem at all. Let's see if we can get the clamp off now. And on these, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the clamp. That way we can set them aside, put them in a safe place. Put them all back. Oh, my ratchet wrench! It happens. Put the clamp back together first. And here's wastegate 2. Get our wrench on there. Another clamp bites the dust. Okay, and all that's left holding the exhaust on at this point is those two fasteners on the end. And now we're going to use a 5/8 socket or a 16, whatever fits, for these bolts that hold the exhaust on right here. It's all covered in oil, so it all comes right off. Optimal laziness. I really need the electric version of this so I can stop dragging air tools around. It's pretty crazy that like every one of my dreams a few years ago was all these air tools, all Ingersoll Rand probably, and now all of my dreams are Milwaukee or DeWalt cordless versions of these things, so I don't need any air. And we'll just hop in here. Now we can get the top mounts off. We've got one over here and one over here. 5/8 again. Oh, comes out quick.
So now we can take our exhaust off. All right.
Nice. That looks pretty epic.
We're taking this upstairs.
Look at all the condensation. We'll just set that out here for now and let it drain any oil out that's residual.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Lamborghini. Also, this exhaust is artwork. It looks super nice with these brackets that are all built in, and it honestly goes together really well. And all the work looks great. But check it out. We can finally really see in here. If you take a look at this one, hot side, well, I mean, it's the exhaust side of the hot side, filled with carbon, but no actual detectable play, I don't think. Yeah, I don't really feel any shaft play. Seems nice. And of course, this one is filled with oil. It probably runs really smooth right now. So the wet turbo, we're gonna call this the wet and the dry turbo. We don't need to worry about hot side and cold side. This one, every fitting looks like it's super easy to remove. They're all completely oiled down. But this one, especially on the hot side, is not oiled down. So we're going to spray a little bit of knocker loose, oops, on the frame, all over this clamp, so that it comes off cleanly, I hope. And on the fittings, the oil lines and stuff, they look pretty baked on. Honestly, I don't even know if I can get these off tonight. We're gonna try. All right, I think I sprayed down everything that mattered. We're gonna try to unbolt these real quick and just get the turbos off. Maybe even just get this one off that's covered in oil because it'll come off easily. And see what needs to be done to get these turbos put back in service. I'm excited about that. I was trying to find a way to get this entire assembly off with the minimum amount of bolts, but I was like, oh yeah, the turbos have to get sent out. So we're not gonna be able to do it like that. I was just gonna try to pull, like, get the screwdriver under my foot, the bolts here off the intake and the bolts off the exhaust there, and remove the wastegates and the turbos as like a complete package with the oil lines off. And should have worked out pretty well. But since I haven't sent them out, let's just tear it apart. All right, the rust penetrating did its job pretty quickly there. Clamps are coming off. This one will obviously come right off, nice and lubricated. Just wiping some of the oil off my tools as I go. Honestly, it looks like all the clamps just have to come off first because some of the oil lines are inaccessible until the clamps are off. This is a really compact package. It's put together really nicely, but yeah, you definitely have to work to get to some of these lines. I knew these were Garrett turbos, and I thought the compressor side was what was custom, but it looks like that has its Garrett serial number on it, and that looks the same. This side is from Tial, along with the wastegates, so I think all of the custom work that Precision did was on the hot side and the hot side housing there. So, yeah, whatever. It's cool that they're custom built turbos, and well, kind of cool. You know, sometimes it's hard to work on custom built parts, but we're getting it apart. It's pretty easy to see which fasteners you need to remove because they're the ones that are accessible. All of these ones were like super nice clamps, and this one's completely different. Really strange. This one's just a cheap worm clamp from O'Reilly's or AutoZone. Okay, we're getting some of the lines off these turbos here. Let's hop in here. Wow, this is coolant side. We sure figured that out quick. Come on, how much coolant is in here? This one is fighting. All right, and I think this is one of the oil lines. This one's probably gonna make a mess. All the residual oil pressure should be very gone. Car hasn't been started since yesterday. So, let's see how much of a mess we're making today. So there's a little orifice that came out of this oil feed line, it looks like. And I'm gonna be very careful with that. And I'm going to tape it back up inside the line. Trying to pull the oil return, it looks like, off of the bottom of the turbo, but it's rubbing on one of the fasteners on the housing. And it looks like I need to have the whole thing apart and then pull off the two Allen head bolts that hold that into the bottom of the housing. So for now, we're just gonna pull the lines off of the return surge tank or tank, whatever this is. It's a custom built little tank. Now for the moment of truth. A lot of wiggling. Compressor side is off. Everything's off. Turbo one, the oil, turbo one, the oily turbo. Look inside that thing. It's so full of oil and grime. Sure runs nice though. It'll just keep pouring stuff out. I'll go ahead and set this turbo over here by the bumper. See if that makes a difference. I think it did. What was that?
I don't know.
Well, I hope that's all it was. Okay, anyway, something fell down. We don't know what it was. Looks like a piece of a zip tie. I'm pretty sure it was a, oh, it was this zip tie. One of these zip ties here exploded. Cool. No big deal. This turbo is off. Drain down all these coolant lines. Come on. Let's make a big mess. There we go. We're going to get all that coolant pouring out of here.
You made a much bigger one on the floor.
I know. The floor cleanup is going down right after this. And we can finally wiggle this turbo out. If I can get around the wastegate line here. This one is, of course, not connected, making our life somewhat easy. And then I just have to spin this one out. And the turbos are off! That was a way bigger job than I intended. I was like, yeah, we'll just pop off those 4 lines and a couple other things and we'll be good to go. And then here we are, this took a long time. So, set the turbos here. I'll finish getting those cleaned up, marked, ready to go out. And that's where we're gonna stop today, I think. The next one, maybe we can finish getting the turbo, air to water intercooler, and all the other piping that goes with this, and you know, getting everything labeled. I took a ton of pictures before we took this apart to make sure I could find out where each line goes and how it was all routed. So I don't think we'll have any problems putting this together. And of course, we're gonna have to refill a bunch of water for the coolant. I think that coolant just running the air to water intercooler in this. It looks like it has its own electric pump. I think that's what was in the fender over there. And yeah, that's where we're gonna stop today. Super dirty now, and that is it for today, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for helping, Lamborghini. Are you excited about this?
I am.
You got that exhaust off all by yourself?
I was much more excited when you told me it was going to be super fast.
Yeah.
We're just popping the turbos off.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to take
no
like
big
5
deal.
minutes. So they're just turbos, so how long can it take? And then here we are with all this crazy, beautifully welded piping that's actually kind of hard to get everything around. So it took a lot longer than I expected. But hey, it's gonna be nice. Every time I take another part off, I just get a little more excited that we're closer to getting the engine out and sticking a new one in.